Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of the LLC podcast for the lifted, the lowered, and the confused. Today, we're going to talk about something a little controversial. We're going to talk about built versus bought. Everybody has strong feelings one way or another toward this.
Nah.
No?
Not everybody.
No? What are you thinking, buddy?
Don't matter to me.
You know, and it's funny you say that because it doesn't really matter too much to me either. But I know Dean feels some kind of way.
Listen, we already had a whole ass episode about you being a gatekeeper. So,
Your turn.
I have strong opinions about built versus bought, but I'm in an interesting position being a business owner, being the one that does build it for people that can, well, they can afford to pay for it, but they haven't afforded the knowledge in life to do it. So,
It's not just knowledge. It's time. There's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and there are absolutely other contributing factors, 100%. I'm not even going to deny that.
So you're a big proponent for built versus bought. You want people to build their rides, right?
I prefer seeing that.
So let me ask you this. Yeah. Is it really someone building their ride if they're having you build it for them? Or is that technically them buying their ride?
Okay, so I look at it like it's me building their ride, but they have a heavy influence in the final outcome of their ride. So there are a lot of components to built versus bought. It's not just very black and white, cut and dry for me, where you're either building it or you're buying it, and that's it. And there's no gray area. There's absolutely gray areas in all of that. So when I say I'm more, I have a stronger opinion about built versus bought, it's mainly for myself. I prefer anything that I roll around on or in, that I've built it, that I've had either a majority hand or a large hand in building that ride, whether it's a chopper or a lowrider or a hot rod, anything of that nature. But that's my personal preference. I get more it's a gratification thing, and it's not for awards. It's not for people to praise me and give me likes and all that stuff. It's a quiet gratification I seek. I like that when people, I pull up and someone sees my ride, and they ask all these questions. Well, who did this? Well, who did that? And I'm like, well, you're looking at them, and I don't need congratulations or man, you do amazing work. Just to look on their face like, oh wow, okay, you had your hand in all of this or the majority of this. If I did the interior, if I did the hydraulics, if I X, Y, and Z. So it's a gratification thing that I like being able to do all of those. To have those skills to do as much as I possibly can. But then there's other things that I don't really have a desire to dabble in, engine work and stuff like that. I can do basic engine things, but if I was building one from nuts up, I'm going to have a professional do it. And I'm going to have no problems, no qualms saying, I had the motor built here and I had the paint, was handled by this person. I just prefer to be able to do as much as I possibly can.
Right. So the person that has commissioned you to build their ride, though, to that person, I don't think it matters so much. I think technically they're buying their ride. I think the term built versus bought means I built it, not I had someone build it.
The issues with that, though, right? We've all been in the game for a hot minute, and we've all seen people who should not weld, should not build anything, dabble in it, and we've seen their car fall. It's a hazard at that point. Like, you're going to kill people, you're going to kill yourself.
Right.
It's just not safe. So, would I like to build my own ride? Absolutely.
Some people don't belong behind a screwdriver, let alone a welder.
I know I can't
Agreed.
weld. I'm not going to tear the rear end out of my truck.
What do you mean?
Fabricate some shit.
Put up the picture.
What?
Absolutely, yeah. I got him welding.
Well,
and he did a great
do
job.
a
So
good
before
job.
he said he can't weld,
I'm not good enough to do an entire. I'm not going to notch a rear end on a car.
Well, not with that attitude.
No. I know my limits. I ain't trying to kill myself, man. I'm trying to get to the car so safe and sound. So in a situation like that, I am perfectly good with somebody paying for it. That's knowing your limits versus being lazy. So.
I am too, 100%. I think you can get your vehicle however you want to roll. If you want to build it, build it. If you want to pay somebody to build it, pay somebody. If you want to just buy one that's already done, buy one that's already done. It doesn't affect me none. I just think the people that claim I built my car can't claim they built their car when they paid somebody to build it for them.
So
I agree. I agree with that, but not in a negative connotation. I don't agree with that. Like looking down upon them negatively. But I agree with that.
I don't
If you built your car, you built your car. Like I'm expecting you were in your garage, cutting, grinding, welding, wiring, at least some part of it, but that's building your car. But
right, but
commissioning someone
Joe
else
Schmo to say, hey, Dean, I got this car.
I've been building it for 3 years, but it's been in the shop for 3 years, and someone else has been building it.
4.
I hate you.
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, let's say 4 years. Let's
4
just use
years is a good number. It's a round number. It's a good
round
number.
4 years. And say, if that person were, I'm not even going to get into that. So yeah, I mean, if someone were having it built for a number of years and they're telling people, yeah, I've been building this for, it's not, you have, I'm not going to sit there and correct them, but no, they haven't been building it.
Let's say this, right? My town cars, I built them, right? I was in there, was doing the work.
Yeah.
My Regal, I built it. I was in there doing the work. My Impala, I'm gonna build it. I was in there doing the work. My Caprice, I'm not building it.
Nobody is actually.
I'm having it built.
My thing is if you have it built, right? You go to a show. What irks me is people who pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars for some of these trucks that are built at these shows, and you ask somebody about it and they don't know TT.
Yeah,
they know
TT. That's another thing.
All it is I paid
drives
$150,000 for this kick-ass truck. Cool. What kind of valves does it have? I don't know.
Now you don't need to know the actual, like the manufacturer's specs and the R&D and the design behind every last component on it, but have a basic knowledge.
Yeah, know your size,
of what
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Have a basic knowledge of what you did, like the what is it, the 4-door Caprice that I built. When I handed it off to the customer, I didn't say, "Here you go, good luck." No, I showed him how. And I went over to his home, actually, because he was pretty local, showed him how to charge it, showed him things to look for, told him where all the grease zerts were, and these are the things you kind of want to check regularly, oil, check your collars on, everything. Now, is he, I would like to say, yeah, he's doing that. Realistically, I know deep down most people that I send out like that, they're not looking at anything until they're looking at setting up a date for me to come look at it or to bring it to my shop because something let go because of no maintenance.
When he brought it to my place that night, we were all working on the Regal. We changed the motor out for him, and we showed him how to do it and what to do and what not to do.
Do you have any pictures of that motor? We got.
I still have the cap with the hole in it. I'll have to take a picture of that.
Blew a hole right into the man.
Yeah, he was locking that thing. He was holding that switch open.
Well, it wasn't him. It was his cousin.
Right? 90. How many volts?
96 volts. 96 volts.
Hold
Held it
that
open.
from bottom up. Just hold every time you want to go.
That motor didn't stand a chance.
The motor.
Overextending. Listen, I had to go. Help him. He said the front won't drop. Sorry, let me get over there. Said I hadn't dropped since last night. I get over there.
Overlocked it.
I went right to the front, looked at it, and you had what are the white coils now? Those are 5 ton.
White ones?
Yeah. They're heavy duty.
4
ton?
4 tons. Or they're 3 tons.
You're 3. I think the 3 for the
tons?
white.
Okay.
It depends where you get them, man. Everybody's different.
Everybody is different.
If you don't have CCE,
So they were fairly chonky coils. So I'll say a minimum 3 ton. And those things were so compressed between each coil you couldn't put a piece of loose leaf paper. And right there I already knew what the problem was. All right. So I'm like, let me see if I can get lucky. I said, is it plugged in? He was behind it, and he said, yeah, he was clear of the batteries, and I reached up under the seat and I plugged it in. I hit the down switch one time and it dropped. And he goes, how the hell did you do it? I'm like, luck. I said, but let me explain to you what happened. And because he was trying to drop it all that evening, so he'd hit it up a few times and down more, but he had hyperlocked it essentially. He had overextended it and locked it. And so I just got lucky that it had rested overnight. I hit the drop and it just, and you heard those things just
Yeah.
so hard that
Yeah,
fluid
most of the time,
ran back.
Most of the time, you got to go with a wrench and,
And you
undo
gotta
the fitting
you gotta leak 'em out.
at the cylinder, bleed them a little bit.
Yeah.
Just not a lot, just enough.
Right.
Airbags are a lot more forgiving than hydraulics. Somebody
Yeah,
who,
but
if you're getting into the hydraulic game and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna fuck some stuff up.
yeah,
You're going to.
see.
Like this kid,
Own
we
a
showed him.
fire extinguisher, please.
Yeah, please, for the love of Christ.
Everybody, I don't care
Yeah,
if you got
no,
3
that's
batteries.
good advice there.
Own a fire extinguisher.
My mentality to that is the same way I view everything in life. If you're gonna do something, just go balls deep, man. I had the same mentality with motorcycles, right? Everybody wanted to start off on 250s or 600s at the most, you know. Forget that. I started off on 1,000 because you know what? That's what I'm gonna ride.
But have a basic, even you don't even have to go balls deep, like you say. You can have just at least a basic knowledge, not like I've got a bunch of money and I know what I want.
At the end of the day,
that's not enough.
At the end of the day, I knew that bike was only gonna go as fast as I turned my wrist,
Yep.
and this car is only gonna react
All
as long as I hold that switch.
How
Right.
long did it take you before you overextended your?
Driving ability on the bike.
Put
I
yourself.
know it happened.
Put yourself. In
I know,
check.
motherfucker.
He's
happened.
asking when.
How long did it take you before you
When
said?
did you put
Let's
yourself-
see what
Really, when you pushed it beyond what you
your capabilities, and you
experience.
put yourself in check, and your ass grabs some vinyl. Not long.
Not long.
Yeah.
Not long.
And that's same thing with hydraulics. People get these big. This kid had what?
Right.
8 batteries
Right.
He jumped in. I've never had a lowrider to 3 pumps, 8 batteries,
and no switch
and
control
all to the nose,
at all.
Right.
At all.
and 0 switch
Burning
experience.
Right.
pumps up. The wiring on that. Oh my god, bro! I don't know how that fucking thing didn't burn down.
Exposed
I know.
exposed wires laying in a puddle
But that's
of
where the
hydraulic fluid on the
inexperience
trunk
comes in.
floor.
I am no expert, but I looked at that and I was like, "Hey, disconnect this because this is going to kill everybody in the shop. We need to disconnect
So I
these
s-
batteries." They were going in a circle, like it wasn't even 96 because it was wired. So
Yeah.
caddy
Yeah, it was weird the way they had it looping around. And I see your point. It's a valid point. I guess I had for the buyer, right? Not the builder. The guys who buy their cars. I guess what you said holds true 100%. Me, on the I'd rather build something side of it, you're never going to learn without that experience.
Right.
Right? You got to fuck it up to know, hey, I probably shouldn't do
Or
that
just get
again.
in there and dig in and do some basic maintenance.
Right.
Especially if someone's willing to teach it.
Right. So for me, knowing that I'm that type, I'm gonna start as high as I can.
Yeah,
Right. If I were the type to just buy a car that's done, you're probably right. I had 0 knowledge and 0 experience. You're probably right. I probably shouldn't start that high.
Unless you educate yourself beforehand, and then ask questions on top of it.
Right. But
a lot of people are just, "This is really cool. I'm gonna drop the coin and I'll
Right.
figure it out," and then they're shocked when their car burns down on the side of the interstate.
yeah.
What happened?
I don't know.
A number of things could have happened, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, okay, case in point, behind me, the gentleman that I'm building his vehicle. I'm building it, but he knows the majority of what I'm doing. He has a good basic knowledge of it. He works constantly. He's going state to state. He's contracted out, and so he doesn't have time. Even if he had the resources and the knowledge, he doesn't literally have the time to build some of these vehicles that he owns, and he owns some pretty wild shit. But he has a basic knowledge of what the hell's going on, and he knows good work when he sees it.
Yeah.
And he's
But I'm sure he's not going out saying I built this Suburban.
Exactly. I got it. It's over. That kid's doing it. So and so, Dean. It's it. And he's not that cat.
And that's my point. A lot of these guys who claim they built their rides didn't build their rides.
I
They
know.
had someone build their ride, which is fine. If that's what you
Just-
got to do,
yeah,
do
just-
it. Just have.
You're giving
have,
false- you're
It's
giving false
it's-
information.
To me, it's disrespectful to the guy that actually built it for you, right? Because
100%.
people say you did a great job, and you're saying you built it. You're taking the credit from that guy. You're costing that guy business because people aren't going to know. You're not promoting his name. People are going to think that you did it.
Even if you buy it third hand, and you don't know who built it, but you change, say, the wheels and a paint job, and you tell people you built it.
You
didn't build it, homeboy. You just
You didn't build it.
you
tweaked it.
personalized it.
You tweaked
it.
it. You personalized it.
My Impala, for example, is a perfect example of this, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be a perfect example of a full restoration.
It's been cut Nothing's been reinforced, but it's been cut. But that car is coming so far apart, and none of that is staying the same. The only things that might be reused are the cylinder holes on the front end, if they're drilled in the right spots. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that
To
is
me,
literally coming
we're
down to
still
nut and
building
bolt.
that car because it's full frame, full new setup, full new rack, full new everything, all new parts.
All new
It's-
metal, all new everything.
That's going to
everything.
be a new build, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's,
and to be quite honest, it might be a new frame.
yeah, we don't even know until we get into it.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin? What do you feel?
I like turtles.
Same as all you guys. Depends on how
I
they
like
do it.
turtles.
Turtles.
Justin, what do you think? Huh?
What? I think you turn that fan off because I keep hearing air in the.
That's true. Background noise. Way to go, Dean. It's fucking 50 degrees outside. You got a fan on in here.
Yeah, well, I'm breathing, so I'm sweating.
And another issue with the built is what's your boy's name? With the got that Suburban. Aaron got that
Aaron,
Suburban.
yep.
He paid how much money for that Suburban?
Oh my word. He did a trade up on that. We had built him a pretty stout foundation of a 4-door.
The
mid to
dually.
late-
Dually,
mid to
yeah,
late
sure.
90s 4-door long bed dually.
With the super singles, man.
Super singles.
I really like those.
It was gorgeous. He had it laid out. Everything was ready to go, and he's just so into audio that he felt like he wanted a tunnel. So he traded that, I believe, plus money. I believe the other person traded it straight up and then gave Aaron a couple grand for the Suburban that had been in another car club. I won't mention the other car club. It had been stickered at one point. On paper, and
It was built from a shop, custom
from a
shop, professional shop.
yeah, and on paper, and 10 feet away, the thing was like, oh wow, that's like a showstopper. But you get close to it, of course, everything that was shaved on it was popping through. I said, all right, well, let's get, that's cosmetic, whatever. Let's get it on the lift. Let's take a look at it. We got that thing on the lift, and it was so far gone. Now this is a Suburban. It's a long fucking car, or truck essentially. I would say right behind the driver's doors where it started, all the way back, the frame progressively got wider and wider, and it was actually butterflying out. It was splitting. It was separating itself. Where the notch was, there were welds that were incomplete, meaning that not that they stopped welding, but there were gaps of metal that the fitment wasn't right at all, so they just didn't weld it if it didn't connect. It was so poorly put together. I said, this is going to eventually shear the back half of your frame. And as I said that, he was under the truck on this lift with a flashlight. And as I said, it's going to shear the frame over time. I saw the light shine through the frame. And there was about a 4-inch section that it was just shearing. And I said, wait, stop, go back. And he went back, and I saw a perforation on both sides. It was already shearing about 4 inches of the 6 inches in total. And I said, dude, this frame's butterflied in half. His link bars were tearing the frame in certain spots. The frame in the rear, like I said, was shearing. It was just so far gone. I said, to fix this, he was hoping to just do a couple odds and ends on the links in the rear just to spruce it up. I said, bro, just to do the rear end on this, to redo it, to try to just save this is going to be, $8-10K just to try to save this. I said, you're better off getting a new frame. He said, well, what do you suggest? I wanted to say, I shouldn't have got it, but he was hell-bent on it, and I wanted to see him happy, but it was so far gone it wasn't even worth repairing unless he got a new frame. And at that point, he had just kind of threw his hands up, wiped his hands clean of it, put it up for sale, and then he ended up only getting, he got,
a fraction. Yeah.
a fraction
And now
is
it's
a nice way to put it.
And now it's for sale, and
And
somebody's
now-
trying to rip somebody's trying to rip somebody's head off.
Now
on
it's
that
in
thing.
Miami. It's for sale. Somebody put
Do
a
they know
different
how
engine.
damaged it is, though? That's the thing.
I think it's been to 2 or 3 different people since him, and now it's for sale. And I believe he got 5 for it. He ended up selling it for 5. The person after him sold it for 10, and now the
Going for
person that
25.
the person that has it now put a new engine in it. Supposedly, they have pictures, but have a different engine in it, and it's not brand new, but it's a different engine, and they are commanding $25K. And if somebody ever gets under that thing and sees just how dangerous it is and how damaged it is, you wouldn't give $2,500 for that.
Yeah.
So, again,
No.
which brings me back to my point on one of the first episodes.
Yeah,
You don't know what you're looking at. Bring somebody that does.
The one we fixed, it was the Caprice that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It was built in a shop in Central Florida.
7 days.
Paid $7,000, and the thing literally fell apart a week after he got it home. It fell apart in his driveway. Thank God, because that car would have 100% killed him or somebody else on the interstate.
100%.
Because the
You know
whole
what?
the whole ass end
It tore.
quit. It just gave up. So I'm
a
out.
link and it tore a link clean off, and the other one was half sheared. Didn't pull an ear off the axle, but it pulled it right out of the.
And that's what
frame.
makes it for a lot of these guys who don't build their cars and buy stuff, because especially if you don't have the knowledge, it's scary what could be out there, and if you don't know what you're looking for, what you might end up with. That's.
It generates work for me,
opposed.
but I don't want that. I don't want work like that because people are out there being dangerous about it.
Yeah, it's like I'm not opposed to buying something that's already done if I like it.
Right.
Like if I found a nice Mark 6 that was already juiced, and I was in a market and I had the money, I'd probably buy it, and I'd just go over it and maintain
Right.
it, and address what needed to be addressed.
Put what upgrades on it that you wanted to.
Right. I'm not opposed to buying something that's done.
Right.
I don't need to build something from the ground up. It's nice too. Gives you great sense of accomplishment. Get to do it exactly how you want it from the start.
And that's where we differ. I can't do that. I don't look down on people that do it if they're honest about it.
Yeah.
Just be honest about it. But for myself, in my mind also too, I don't know if it's just if it's a pride thing or whatnot. It's I'm a fabricator. Why would I buy a built vehicle? I'm an upholsterer. Why would I go pay someone to have them upholster my vehicle? So I can't get behind certain things because that's my profession.
Yeah. Well, it's a time.
But I
thing.
don't knock it.
It's a time thing too.
Absolutely, it's a time thing.
Well,
Absolutely.
we all have jobs. We don't always have the time to build them.
Yeah, I can't hate on people in a negative light that buy their vehicle built because that's what I do. I'm just saying personally for myself, I couldn't go and buy a built vehicle or have it built because I don't seek any gratification out of that. Some people are just happy enough having the money to do it and getting it done, and that as they should be. If that's all you're looking to have done, if someone else build it for you, then by all means, there's nothing wrong with
your
that.
profession, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You say
What do you mean?
you like people that build their own cars, right?
Absolutely.
They build their own cars. They ain't bringing their shit to your shop.
Right, exactly. That's my point. So I can't sit there and hate on people that get cars built because if everybody's building their shit, I'm SOL. So I'm not building nobody's. So I got to have people that want to just have it done by a professional.
For realistic terms, you actually support people who buy shit.
I really do,
Money
and
in
that's
your
the thing. Again, it boils down to a preference for me. I'm not going to say never. You never say never, but I have a strong opinion that I highly doubt I'll ever buy anything that's done, unless maybe it's a specific situation in which it's a vehicle that I heavily desire, and it's hard to come by, and it just already so happens to be cut.
All right, what would it be? What
I don't
is that?
know.
What is
I honestly
that
don't
vehicle?
know. Well, okay, maybe a 59. 58, 59, 60, Impala. Those are beautiful to me. 57, Bel Air. And that's a couple. Those are pretty popular, as most of
57
them
in
are.
Phoenix, boy.
Oof. But if I get that and I get it maybe for the right dollar,
And it was on air.
yeah.
That was gorgeous.
If I got that for the right dollar, I'd probably go through it though.
That made my pants tight. I ain't gonna lie.
Snoop liked that
damn.
picture.
You did?
I think maybe maybe the pride might strike in me too. Even if it was already cut, I'd probably go through everything.
Well, you have to go through everything because you
Go
don't
through
know.
everything, but I may have a tendency to be a little overcritical just because I'd probably want to get my hands in there and
No.
cut it all up myself.
Shut up. Seriously?
So yeah. So I support it, but I support buying your vehicle, not building it, in the sense of business. But as a personal preference, anything that I'm driving, I got to be the guy behind the fab.
So what you're saying is there needs to be a third class.
A third.
Having built.
What is it?
Having built.
Having built. Yeah.
Built, bought, having built.
Or had
Built, bought, and under someone else's construction. So
That too.
that's my stance on
I
it.
don't think I've ever bought anything done. I never bought a completed vehicle. But I was poor up until a couple years ago, so I didn't really have that option.
The Impala is the first one I think that I've bought that quote unquote was done. But that's
It's gonna be
that,
redone.
that thing's
Now,
sketchy.
if you look at it, it's trust
It's
me,
sketchy.
it's done.
Yeah,
it is
it's-
done.
Yeah,
When we picked that up, and that dude,
yeah, she's on life support. Oh, she's on life support right now. But it'll be good once
The
they
motor
once,
was saying,
once the shop's built.
"Help."
Got a bunch of parts for it ready to go.
yeah, you do got everything.
You're member of the month at Hubbard.
Yeah, they still.
damn.
I'm still waiting on everything.
We
I need to
lost
send
count
by
on what
freight.
you spent at that place,
It was-
and you didn't even have everything yet.
Let's what would Nelly say? Let's say I call out a number. Let's say I call out a lot.
God.
You have an entire shell for a 64 on top of your 64.
Yeah,
You
pretty
literally,
much.
you
Pretty
in
much.
parts, you have it in
Pretty
64
much.
on top of a 64.
I think the only thing I didn't order were the quarters.
Yeah. You got everything.
Everything.
Yeah,
Tins, interior.
and the quarters we'll know once we take the body off and sandblast it. But
Yeah, that whole thing, frame's getting probably dustless blasted. Body
Yeah, it's
probably
all
just the
getting-
same. Probably the
all
body.
getting
Probably
right.
do the body and the frame at the same time. Have it out ready for whomever does the mobile service and do a soda blast or
yeah,
a dustless blast on both, right there. You know, just see what you're working with,
Soon-
and then
soon as
shortly
we get-
thereafter,
As soon as we get the Buick rolling, the mine pile is going under the knife, so
Yeah.
we'll be taking all apart. So
and then something like that, you have to have once that moisture is dried, you need to have primer in the gun ready to go because it doesn't take.
Yeah. Well, I
it
read
doesn't
up,
take.
man,
It doesn't take long for raw metal to
there's-
oxidize in Florida. So.
there's companies that will do the blasting for you and then coat it.
No kidding.
Yeah,
And that's it. That's the
probably
trip
do
right
that.
there. That's what
So
you need to do.
speaking of that, what's the new timetable for your garage?
so they were supposed to break ground yesterday,
Right.
and on the survey,
Oh, yeah. Survey says.
it didn't show all
Survey
of the,
says not today.
Survey
Yes,
says.
the survey didn't show all of the plants and trees along my fence line, and that's a key area for the drainage. So they couldn't unload the dirt. They got to come back with an excavator. Hopefully, they're going to come back tomorrow, break ground. They wanted to have everything framed out for concrete for next week.
Do they
So
need?
We'll see if that's.
I feel like
that
dude pulled up
happens.
and was like, "Nah, you got a bougainvillea right there. We're gonna have to reschedule."
Do they need to pull different permits now to remove the trees along?
No.
Everything's good.
It's all good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that big or crucial there. It's just a lot of bush, you know. And there's a couple stumps that they still got to get out from the hurricane damage. So they're gonna come back with an excavator, get all that done, and hopefully we can get the concrete. Because once they stake it out, we can measure out for where the lifts are gonna go.
The loft.
So, well, mainly we just got to measure out
Yeah,
for
we'll have
the
to go in
lifts.
after the fact.
Yeah, because the lift has to have the thicker concrete, so
Okay.
we got to know exactly where that's going to go, so I
Okay.
can make sure it's
You rebar the
least
entire
6
floor or
inches.
just underneath the lifts?
the whole thing is rebar. Yeah, otherwise it'll crack and separate. But
So, just to be more clear, this is going to be like Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, essentially. And
What
have a
is?
full shop at the bottom, upstairs loft, couches, lounge area.
Hopefully, as long as everything goes according to the plan in my head,
Yeah.
which has been known to be off
All right.
from time to time. All right, guys, that'll do it for the built versus bot argument here on the LLC podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.